day that I was going to come out here, out in the country, in this beautiful setting, speak to amazing entrepreneurs and not want to speak to an ice cream manufacturer. That's right, that's who I'm speaking to today. His name is Luca Balfi and he owns Bambini Ice Cream, 5th generation family-run ice cream business. Yum! Come, let's have a chat.
Ice cream. Everybody loves ice cream. Japan has mochi, India has kulfi, Iran has faluda, Italy has gelato. No wait, a little town in Magaliesberg has gelato. Stay tuned to hear about the gelato recipe that traveled all the way from Italy to South Africa from way back in the 1800s.
You know, you obviously got the business from your parents.
Ice cream wasn't a big thing overseas at a stage, and my great-great-grandfather wanted to give the Italian committee a possibility for a good quality ice cream at a good price and be able to satisfy all those people and their needs. So it was always a saying, even in the times of crisis, ice cream makes a smile to everybody's face, and that's what carried on through all the years. So Bambini ice cream has been brought down for about 5 generations to come. Started in 1882 overseas, and through all the grandparents brought down each year, it eventually came to me. In 2019, it was called La Veneziana Ice Cream, my parents' company, and they then decided, okay, it's now time for me to take over and start the new generation under Bambini Ice Cream. So for them, it started as a thing of a generation, a family business that's handed on all the years. And for me, that's the continuity for me to give it one day to my son. It would be where it would go next. So when my parents started the company, they started in about 25 years ago. And when they started it, I was actually there as a toddler, walking around carrying my dad the bricks so that he could build the factory that they were busy, yes.
Wow.
So they bought a farm in Magaliesberg, just a little bit further away from Black Horse, and they decided this is where we're going to build the factory. They did the roses and they said, this is where we're going to make that ice cream factory. And as a toddler, all I could do then was carry the bricks to my father, and he built the whole factory. For me, for my own business as Bambini Ice Cream, it's more of an appreciation rather than you need to sometimes take away the arrogance of, as a young person starting in a business, sometimes not a hand-me-down, it's not an arrogant. You need to sometimes appreciate what came before and the knowledge that the people that were there before, what they can give you. Because without those people, how do you expect yourself to grow? Yeah. You need to be able to accept from other people their opinions to help you grow together. Yeah. So it's a very much a family business. My employees, we all one big family there. So it's not as a when I go to work on a daily basis, I don't like to say I go to work. I'm going to go see my family. We're going to go and make ice cream, and we're going to make people happy. That's what we do. From an outsider, as a child, growing up, going through high school and going through varsity, it did seem rosy because a lot of the things are kept away from you as a child. You don't know the good, the bad. You know when there's good things, you know, you can see smiles and things, but you don't really see the struggle. It's hidden away from you. It's too big to see. So as a child, it was not something that we were made aware of. But later, now owning my own business and starting it up, did I realize there was a lot that was going on that I was not aware of.
Do you get tired of ice cream?
I don't. Whenever I go out to a restaurant or to a function, I'm always the first person. The dessert is always the ice cream. If it's not the ice cream, it's the milkshake up. Never. It might sound boring, but for me, vanilla is the spot. Many people have said it's such a boring flavor. It's the flavor that everybody enjoys. But for me, vanilla is always the top flavor. That, for me, takes the cake. Obviously, my parents had the business before me. Family business carried over through. And ice cream was always something that was either brought to gatherings. It was always there for Christmas. First ice cream would have been when we started up the business, many, many moons back. It was one of the things we had always on the table. It was always over the weekends. Ice cream was a big part of our lives. It's something I've always, the family business we were always told as kids was carried over. It was a very heritage thing that was spoken about a lot. So it's myself, I've got a little brother and a little sister. So the next to step on would have probably have been me. But when I was in school, I enjoyed food. I loved food. So food was something I was very interested in doing. I didn't necessarily think it was going to be an ice cream, but I was very taken away by food. So when I was in varsity, while I was studying, I decided, okay, I'll take a part-time job as a chef and learn about food before I go into the business. And, I have to have brought something to the party. And at that stage, then I realized, after about 2 years of working in a kitchen, I realized, ice cream, we don't learn about ice cream. Ice cream is not something that restaurants buy it and they just send it out. They never make it themselves, but they make cakes and they make everything else. And I realized, no, I want to make ice cream. I want to make nice flavors, add extra things in, get people smiling again. I want people to taste this ice cream and think, wow, this is incredible. And that's where the whole picture came into play. Once I came to that realization, I still went to my father and I was like, Dad, listen, I'm interested. I would like to learn what you know. And for me, it was a blessing. I mean, your mentor being your father and his knowledge that's been carried over. He said, look, we'll have to learn. You'll need to learn things about business. I studied a bachelor's degree, which it helped, but it's different theoretical versus practical. And that helped a lot later when I was mentored and taught, and then I realized this is what I want to do. It only took about 6 months, and then I knew this is what I want to do. I want to do ice cream.
Obviously, businesses go through ups and downs, and you parents called it after COVID. It was a family business that was handed down over generations. It must have been quite significant for you to take this job and run with it and almost continue the family legacy. Did it feel like a big responsibility for you?
Yes, it was. Being as young as I am, with very little experience, it was, at first it was a exciting thing because it's new. And then when things started to happen, I started to realize, wow, this is a big responsibility. It's not just me. I have to be responsible for all my staff members. I need to be responsible for the people at home that are depending on me to make sure this is a success. But then I realized, if I enjoy what I'm doing and the people around me enjoy what they're doing, then we will succeed. There's no reason for us not to succeed. And then that burden started to disappear.
Your own challenges, now that you own the business, what are they?
The challenges that that I'm still dealing with is, as I would say, for myself, criticism was a big challenge for me. I mean, as a learning chef, you come in and somebody tells you, no, this is not how you do it. And you have to oh, okay, let me step back. I need to step back. I need to listen to somebody else. That for me was a big step. And to try and a bit more focus. Focus is a big thing.
Yeah.
When you start off, you think, sure, I want to do all this. Love and China had 300 products.
Wow.
They had a catalog, wide catalog. And when I thought about it, I thought, I need to live up to that expectation. I thought, no, let me be me. We streamlined. So a big part for me that I needed to learn was to streamline. Not think, sometimes it's nice to dream. We can dream. But you need to also be realistic of what is possible and what is a little bit out of reach. And that for me, I'm still learning to streamline into a better, a better focused business.
I think when you took over the business, it was sort of, you were forced into being responsible very quickly, right?
Yes.
The timing was sort of
immediate.
It was immediate, and it was imposed on you by circumstances. What has that taught you about yourself?
We need to be able to adapt. We need to be able to accept change. We need to be able to be resilient and not give up. For me, I was thrown in the deep end very quickly, and I needed to accept for myself, listen, I need to change. I need to be able to accept. I need to be able to adapt to the situation, or this is not going to work. So for me, that was one of the big things that came, was learning to adapt as quickly as you can. In business, things don't always go all gloomy. There are challenges that come up, and you need to be able to react, adapt, and move on. And that was one of the main things that came up. Love and Tiana was a very big company that focused mainly on the restaurant industry. And when we started Bambini, I said, I don't want to deal with that again. So when I started Bambini, I said to my office, I said, listen, from now on, we're not only doing restaurants, we are doing schools, we are doing hotels, we are doing tasting events, so I can communicate with the public directly. So if the pandemic had to come now and they would close the doors for the tourism, it wouldn't be an issue, because we are able to deliver now to do home stops, which we were unable to do before. So the logistics side I had to work on, and that's a big part of it. I don't want to have to deal with that in my life ever again. So in terms of what they went through and what I would have to have gone through, I don't think it would be necessary for us to have to close the doors.
You say when you go to work, you go to your family.
Yes.
That's something, a thread that I'm hearing here. Family being very important, the people being very important. So how important is family, the people that you work with, in the business?
Well, I always say to my staff, I spend more time with them than what I do with the people at home. So when I leave in the mornings, I'm coming to see my family on a daily basis. So if there are any issues, we need to sort them out. If there are any good times, we need to enjoy them. The business is a family business. So I'm the 5th generation, so it's been carried over through all the years. It must keep that concept of family. So as my father gave it to me, I will give it to my son or my children. But the people around me should also be there in 25 years from now, when that step has to step. So for me, family is very important. If I see my employees as employees, for me, it hurts me. I want to be able to care. For me, it's coming into a new business as a very young person. It mustn't be a number. Everyone must have a name. Everyone must have a memory with me. It's a family business. That's what I need. The business has always carried that through, and it's important. I want to be able to provide for all South Africans. That's my goal, to provide all South Africans with a good quality, affordable, and delicious ice cream. I want that when you taste it, you know, ooh, that was Bambini ice cream. It had to be. It had to be. That if someone had to say to you, it's not, listen, go double check there again for me. It must be Bambini ice cream. There must be a difference. That's what I want. I want that ice cream is able to travel through the whole of South Africa, and that everybody's able to enjoy it, as I do every day.
What is your ultimate dream for the business? What do you wish you knew sitting here today when you started your business?
I wish I knew that sometimes we need to be able to accept change, be able to accept what has happened, be able to pick ourselves up, and sometimes put on our helmet and push forward, to be able to push through the difficult times, even though when it seems like you're almost at the end of whatever good has come, to be able to push through that, because at the end, there's only great to come. That's what I wish.
So can we have ice cream now?
Of course. Please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming through.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.